Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you all had a fantastic time. I hope you ate loads of food. I hope you drank loads of drink, laughed lots of jokes, and was merry. Christmas was a little bit different for me and my family this year. Normally we would all be at my mum's, and we'd stay over, so we'd have Christmas dinner together, and we'd also have Boxing Day breakfast together. Unfortunately, this year, due to my mum catching COVID, we couldn't do that. So she had to self-isolate, so did my sister, and everyone spent their Christmases in their respective houses. We still got together on a video call. She's all right, by the way. We still got together on a video call, but it was a little bit different for us. We had to change a bit of a change of landscape. So I just wanted to share with you something that happened to me on Boxing Day. So on Boxing Day, I had to pop to the office to go and pick up a few bits and pieces that I'd forgotten, because there were some things that I needed to do whilst I was at home. As I'm coming out of the office, I bumped into a young guy that lived around the way, and he held me up. We exchanged salutations, hi, how you doing, Merry Christmas, etc. And he said to me, look, can I just pick your brains about something? He goes, you used to put a lot of motivational posts out, and particularly posts about relationships way back when, and I used to find them really useful. So I just wanted to pick your brains on something that's going on right now between me and my other half. So I said, of course, I've got some time. So fire at me, let me know what's going on. So he said to me, look, me and my girlfriend, I think that we're basically growing apart, and I'm frightened of losing her. We're not communicating very well. I feel that when I speak to her, she's not listening to me, and she says exactly the same thing back at me, and all we're doing is just bumping heads. And I'm really, really frightened now that like we were arguing over this festive period, and I'm really frightened now that this could be it, and that we might not make it through next year. So he went into a little bit more he elaborated a little bit further on the intricacies of what was going on. And so after he finished, I said to him, I don't think that your issue is a lack of communication. And he went, no. No, I think communication is your problem. And he goes, what do you mean? I said to him, look, different people communicate in different ways. Different people hear things in different ways. Different people articulate things in different ways. And your objective as a partner in a relationship is to fundamentally make sure that you are hearing the other person in a way that they acknowledge, number one, that they have been heard, and number two, that you actually hear their issue. So when people get together in a relationship at the beginning, we are all ears. And I mean, we are all ears to all possible ways of communication in all possible genres. Because we want to impress this person, we want to learn about this person, we want to understand this person, we want to understand their intricacies, we want to know what sets them off, what calms them down, we want to know what turns them on, which turns them off. So we're listening to everything. So all radars are pointing at that specific person. We want to hear about them. Now, in a beginning relationship, we communicate very, 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 very well, because the most important integral part about communication is to listen and digest and understand. Listen, digest, and understand. The understanding is when you regurgitate it back to affirm to the other person, I get what you mean. As the relationship progresses, we believe that we now know the person. So part of that understanding is an assumption. It's an assumption. We assume that we know what that person's feeling. We assume that we know what that person is thinking, and that is only accurate provided that we have kept our communication with said person open, honest, and frequent. If you take a look at it like this and look at train tracks, you get two rails on either side, and they're connected by beams in between, and those are your train tracks. Those beams are frequent, and that's what holds the two tracks running parallel. The beams in this respect are how your attempts or the times that you communicate with your other half. If you're not effectively communicating with your other half regularly, those beams will start to warp, and then they'll start to grow apart. I said to him, you need to remember that two people can watch a movie Two people watch the same movie in the same room at the same time, sat right next to each other. And the two different people come up with two different understandings of the movie. Two different like scenes within the movie that were their favorite. Two different parts of the movie that scared them. Two different parts of the movie that moved them. And this is what's going on in your relationship, because it's not two becoming one. It's two people running one life. Two people doing one life, two people sharing one timeline, but you're both taking your own individual cuts from that timeline. You're both taking your individual points of reference from that same timeline, and those points of reference alter you very slightly. You see something that scares you, I don't really like that, so therefore you change how you act to things or how you react to things to make sure that doesn't occur. But if you don't communicate that to your other half, that's where your relationship becomes vulnerable, because now you've made an assumption. You've made an assumption that they get you. You've made an assumption that they've got the change. And when people don't understand that something has changed, they're going to react in a way that was previously acceptable, previously expected, but now the two of you don't line up. I said to him, what you've got to do right now with your other half, is the two of you need to effectively communicate. In the way in which you've got to do that is you need to let them know, number one, that it's paramount importance that they hear you and you hear them. So you want to set up a time where the two of you can sit in a room together, undistracted. So no phones, there's no everybody else, not a busy space. The two of you can sit down and you know, at this point in time, we're coming to talk about us, yeah? But most importantly, make sure your other half understands that at that point in time, they're not coming for them to be talked at. They're not coming for you as an opportunity just for you to take center stage and tell them what you're thinking. They're coming to be heard. They're coming for a time for you to listen to them, take on board what they're saying, and understand it. And that's the crucial bit. When you call that together, you let them know the fundamental part of this meeting that I'm trying to arrange is for me to understand where you're at, for me to understand what's going on in your head, for me to understand how you feel, because how you feel is important, and this relationship is important to me, and I really don't want to lose you. And when you set the stage like that, the person not only understands what they're coming to, so there are no surprises. They're reassured in the fact of knowing, okay, cool, this person, my person, cares. My person wants to understand. I said to him, once you've done that, then you have to follow through on the stage that you set. So when the two of you come together, this is not you jumping on the other person. This is you actually taking the time to hear what your person has got to say. Giving them the stage, giving them the time to talk, and then you respond to what's being said. So you, like, commonly when I speak to couples, and we talk about them having issues communicating, it's because basically they're taking in turns to speak. So one person's going, I don't like this. Now, the person that then comes back isn't saying, okay, I get that you don't like this, and I get how we can change this to this. What do you think about that? Cool. And then moving on to the next subject. No, what the person's doing is one person goes, I don't like this. And the other person's there, but I don't like that. And the person goes, I don't like this. And then the comments, I don't even know what to call it. The exchange goes on and on and on and on. There's never a solution. And the whole point of communicating is to reach solution, to reach mutual understanding. And the situation that this young man is in is a common one. It's a common one. It's something that affects every relationship out there at some point in time, because as humans, we share experiences and therefore we gain knowledge. And to an extent, we know our person, but you never get yourself into a position where you forget that you are both individually and independently learning side by side. And as long as you maintain that understanding, as long as you maintain that reality, then you'll never miss the opportunity to go, actually, let's just touch base and make sure we're both on the same page. And therefore the next run goes in and those rails stay parallel. Relationships are a fantastic thing. The union of two people, absolutely, truly awesome. But I urge and I stress you not to forget, the goal is not to get into the relationship. The goal is to maintain it. And one of the most crucial ingredients to that meal is to communicate with your other half openly, honestly, and often. Hope that helps.